Hey guys, SkinnerDVT here, and this is a replay between Scream and Zess. This is a finals game in the Starcast Open number 2, one of 5 games I shall be doing over the next couple of days. I do have school on at the moment, so my time is more limited than it was, say, a week ago when I was on school holidays and could record 3 or 4 games in a day. Now, this series of games is all seeming to be quite long, so I won't do them all in one go, so they will be a little slower to go up. They are also 1080p, which does also slow the upload process. Pardon me, I just took a drink there. Now, these 5 games are all Zerg vs Protoss, so I'll be interested to see how the players evolve their strategy over the game, because it could make things quite complicated given that there's 5 games and someone is going to learn your playstyle if you only have 1 or 2 strategies. However, both these players are fairly high level and seem to have gotten into the finals, so in theory they're good players. Now, this map is Lost Temple, and it's an interesting map. It's very interesting spawning locations. A lot of people will say that these spawning locations are very good for air rushes. That's not technically how I see it. I see it as this area, these spawning locations make it very easy to defend with 3 ranged units. Got a couple of ranged units up here, and you can hold most of that. And the same applies for the Zerg over here. And this is one of the reasons why this map is one of my favorites to go early expo on, because 3 or 4 roaches up here, a spine here and here, and a couple of lings, and you can hold it pretty much indefinitely versus anything. Now, one of the interesting things I'd like to note is that Scream did not scout in the correct position. He's favoured sending his 2nd Overlord in that position, which I find rather interesting, but it's fair enough. Neither players have gone for gas yet, which just most likely means they won't be teching that hard. I do see the Horde symbol on Scream, so obviously some WoW has gone down there, which I'm rather proud that I know what the Horde symbol is. We do see a 12 or 13 spawning pool going down for Scream, and a worker down here to stop pylon/cannons. So this is interesting. He is on the diamond level, so clearly he's been having troubles with this at some point. Now, if I was him, I would have just pulled that worker off to help that guy get a clear bugger off message, but clearly in Diamond this strategy must be strong enough that he feels versus Protoss he needs to put a worker there constantly. Now, I am aware that they do that on the professional level, but I just find it quite interesting that he does it as soon as he sees a Protoss on the other team. So Zess is now trying to irk out whatever damage he can with the regenerating shields of the probe, and I'll be interested to see if this drone is going to pop down here and take an expansion. It does not appear so. I think we're just going to go with a Queen and Overlord pop very quickly. No, we're just going to go for a Zerg, for a bunch of lings and a drone. So, not pushing for an early Queen. He is being quite ambitious with that Overlord. It will not get sniped, given that the cybernetics core has only just gone down, possibly a little slow, but both players are favouring a more macroeconomic build over a more offensive, say, early 4-gate, which I have seen happen a lot. We do now see the Queen being produced, however he is supply capped. Interestingly enough, he does create 2 Overlords at this point. There's nothing technically wrong with that, but if Idra was doing it, everyone would chuck up a fuss. It basically comes down to you just wasted 100 minerals. It's not a big deal, and personally I do that sort of thing all the time, build 2 or 3 pylons in a bunch. It just prevents me from getting supply bulked for that tiny little bit longer, so I think it's worth it. But a pro, if I saw a pro doing it, I'd then be a little concerned. Or maybe not concerned, maybe that's just the standard thing to do nowadays. Now, one of the interesting things I notice here is that Scream is using his Overlords to scout. If we just hide in here for a second and watch the mini-map, this is probably only something that people viewing in 1080p will be able to do, but you'll notice he's watching this expansion, he's going to be watching that or that expansion, he's going to be watching that expansion, and he's watching his opponent's expansion. So with his overlords, he is able to gain a highly advantageous is the wrong word. I'm not exactly sure what the word is, but the word is basically he can see shitloads. So we do now see Zess has gone for the Protoss 4 gate. Now, one of the strategies I've been trying lately is a 4 gate into expand. So instead of using the 4 gate offensively, I use the 4 gate purely for defense, versus people who tend to 4 gate or do some kind of cheese against me, which basically means it's very, very difficult for them to attack me because I have 4 gate worth of units on defense, not offense. So, because one of the weaknesses of a 4 gate is if say a Terran bunkers off with some siege tanks, or on this map so there's some range units up there, or with a sentry, good sentry micro or something, you can easily be locked out and then picked off one by one, and this is a very easy way to lose a game, because as soon as you lose a little bit of army, then you are going to just be stuffed, to put it bluntly. We do see that Zess has favoured a more stalker heavy build, and he is going to push out right now. Whether this is for an expansion or attack, I'm not sure. He is chrono boosting out level 1 weapons. Maybe he's going to do a timing attack then, or possibly he's going to expand soon, although given the economy count, I doubt that is the case, and the amount of lings that Scream just made is going to make that very, very improbable, especially with that spine crawler. He does now have speedling, which will allow him to get behind the stalkers, but there are quite a large amount of zealots in that force. He has just started building 8 more roaches, so he sees this force moving out across the map as quite a big threat. He does notice the one worker, which even if he didn't have scouting information would be indicative of a warp gate army, because he wants to warp them in. So he does have one spine crawler, which will be built in about 5 seconds. A bunch of roaches did now just pop, so this force should be able to be defended against fairly easily with minimal losses to economy or structures. He will lose a couple of forces, but he won't lose much else. He is pushing out quite aggressively, trying to get those 1 or 2 last kills. However, this roach is going to be in trouble. I am sorry for the overlay if someone finds it annoying. I have changed my unit overlay from selected to everything. It's just allowing me to micro slightly better in fights to tell what bits of their army to target, and it does allow for easier shoutcasting on my part, so hopefully you guys won't mind It's just something that I heard about on a forum, not the Starcast forum, a different forum, and then did and found I liked it, so I kept it. We do now see that Zess is expanding. However, Scream does know about it, I believe. Yes, he does know about it, so that is going to complicate matters for Zess, because Scream is going to, with all his heart, try and stop the expansion, or at least secure a third for himself. Maybe a nice little gold might be what Scream wants. Who knows? Nice little creep spread across the map, just giving him enough to have that defensive advantage, but not too much that it's hurting his queens through lava inject. We do now see some hydras. Hydras are a very good idea versus gateway units. Their high attack speed and high damage means that with a roach ball they can beat everything, including charge lots. The only weakness gateway units wise would be that of a bunch of High Templars, which at the moment we have not seen Zess go for. High Templars and Colossi. Colossi could be in the works, given we do see a robotics facility coming out for Zess. Interesting placement, building placement there. It does hinder a Ling run-by, but doesn't entirely stop it. If he puts another building here, that could almost totally remove the option of a Ling run-by, and personally I hate Ling run-bys. They are just a pain in the butt. Scream has now gone for the level 1 weapons upgrade, while Zess has not pushed a second upgrade and does not currently have the Twilight Council to push a level 2 upgrade. But Scream is continuing on with just saturating his second base. He has been mining full gas for a while now, and we do see a robotics facility coming out for Zess, so we are going to see some Colossi. And I'll be interested to see what the Screen does to respond to this. Possibly a well, a spire is going down anyway. I wonder if that was in reaction to... No, it can't have been, because he doesn't even know of the robotics phase existence. So that spire was part of the game plan originally, or maybe he just had general game intuition, but I'd suggest we're going to see mutas out of that, and as soon as he realizes there are colossi, a few corruptors as well. He is still just sticking to his good old 4-gate, nothing wrong with 4-gate, and he is building quite a large Protoss army. 3 sentries with almost full energy will be able to fairly effectively force field against Hydras, Roaches, and Lings. And level 1 Zealots, as people know, do allow a Zealot to 2-shot Zerglings instead of 3-shot. But with this Observer, he will gain a full glean into Zess's tech, which, Scream will gain a full... I'm just going to start that sentence all over again. Zess is now going to know what Scream is doing. Zess...